I'm not sure how much wind is caught, but I'm just going to start recording because many interesting things have been being said just by talking about nature and being at one with it. And not worrying about having to go to work or a schedule. Even though when I talk about later on today I have to, that's a different thing. It's sort of a weird part of me that can separate. Oh, here comes the wind. The wind said, don't worry about work right now. So I say, okay. And now it says, take deep breaths. 20. $15. One more.
I just spit on my foot.
That's nature. It's always so primordial when you feel natural and you do something like spit and it's all gooey, that gooey slimy spit that strings from your mouth, boing, and it's like, oh, I look gross right now in front of somebody and I don't want to look gross. But we all do that at certain times, but right now I feel okay doing that with whoever I'm around because I'm nature, and as natural as nature can be, that's me. And there's a part of us that has that prenatal feeling, and a part of us that as a baby still feels that outside the body, and as a part of us still feels that as a child to the parent, no matter how old their age when the parents nestle them. And there's a part of me right now that has bugs crawling up in between my ears and in my ears. That's part of nature that I don't want to swat away, and I'm conscious enough not to just grab at suddenly because I feel them in those crevices and they itch or they tickle. I go, oh, it's alive. So I go really slowly and I go, hey, get out of there. I don't want to hurt you, but at the same time, that's a weird spot for you to be. You know what I mean? I think we all do that. Or like some of us need to spit and we'll go, oh man, I spit in front of somebody and now I got this goo slop hanging down and I look silly. And the person looking at you probably thinks to himself, well, I've done that before, but I'm judging them right now. And if we could always be in a moment where judging is as equal as it is unequal. Like, yeah, I do that, so what? Cool, not cool. Whatever, awesome. You're amazing. It's not that important at all. I love you. And there's no negative side to any of those. It's all just purity and over-sensing purity. And like loving it and just allowing it. And then over-exaggerating it and being what it is. Instead of all the other things, they're over-exaggerating it and blowing it out of proportion. And making the news something that it isn't. If you keep worrying about it, it'll turn into what it is. And guess what? That's what we're doing. But if you can sit and calm your mind, even when the wind is blowing this fast on the pond, that's the whole point of it all. How steady can you be? How fast is that moving? How many millions of patterns are you seeing in your eyeballs rippling over the water right now? Millions, right? Billions of little patterns. I mean, do you see how many little patterns there are there? Billions. And that's happening the more you focus on it. Each of them looks like the wings of a dragonfly if you focus a little farther out on it, you know what I mean? It's so beautiful. That's nature from the sky, from the universe point of view. And then when you take one of those flutters and you say, that's a dragonfly, and you focus in on it, and it is. And it comes into that world, and the pond that makes up the dragonfly's world, and the people that surround the world of the dragonfly. Because we're as equally a part of its world as it's part of ours. And that's that allowing and loving. Not that, oh, it's a bug on my world, and I'm not a pest on its. That's how we should all look at it. I just approached nature, the wind, the water, bugs, all with compassion, as the Buddha, as the Christ within each person, in you, in me, in the pond, in life, in the springtime. And sometimes I'm the voice of it, and I feel like someone should talk this way. And because they don't, people are missing it. And it's the voice of reason that people need. What was it? Bugs. Like on a day like this, I could sit here and just do this all day. And yeah, and if I had them on my pants, I'd watch them, but I can't go over there. And, oh, they're there. I was going to say, because I can't go stare at your crotch, so I'm sort of lost in your world is over there and my world is over here. I can't stare at your crotch, but now I can see them on your leg. He's got two bugs that are sort of like spider beetles. They're arthropods, definitely. They have arachnid legs. They're also sectional insects, but they're arthropods. And they're quadrupods. They're cloetropods because they've got legs up on the top, legs on the bottom, legs everywhere. They're like land crabs. They're not afraid of...
There's another one, it's smaller.
Yeah, they're not afraid of anything, and they're not intimidated by anything. And they'll bite you just as much as they'll love you. And if you say, hey, don't bite me, you're cool. It won't. Hey, come on now. I know you're an alien to this life form, and you're trying to plant up and stock your alien life forms on me just like everything else does. The difference between a pest and an addition is something that'll clean it up or something that'll harm it. And right now it looks like he's actually healing the cracks of my dry skin. If I let him go to work, he's probably nature's job to work on a human being. But most human beings would be like, ew, it's a bug. And if you say, hey, whatever your job is to do it on me, and I'll let you do it. And he's doing it, and I'm happy, enjoying this company of a bug.
Do you have your GoPro? I see your father.
Yeah, you can use it. That's the one I'm recording on. Yeah, you can take that one.
Use the camera?
Yeah, just turn the YouTube off. There's just music playing. I mean, I'm recording whether the music's playing or not. It was just fun to have on. You know, I don't think you're a pest. I think you're quite awesome. Can you check out this little dude? Oh, you're checking out one on your pant leg, too. Is it a video or a picture? Whatever he's doing it to my skin, so that's why it's sort of cool.
You may take a video?
Yeah. Like, there's nothing pesting about a pest. It's sort of cool. I can see his little eyeball. All depends on how nature allows me to not convulse today. I'm feeling pretty nature vibey. And when the wind blows, sometimes I start going, oh, like, that's literally me just allowing the shamanic stuff to come out. When I do it by myself, I do it all the time. I shake and whatever. I don't want to bother him, but I want to move him from my hand so I don't mush him. All right, buddy.
Yeah, I accidentally swung in the morning. That's too bad.
Time to go. I know we became friends now. See ya. I hope you're okay. I didn't see where you popped off to. Now he's gone for the rest of my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That little interaction with the finger that he just had. Oh yeah, I'm still recording on the other one. We were recording on the phone, and I forgot, even though we stopped on the phone, I'm still recording my video or audio. Which is just awesome. So now I'm going to put the music back on, and...
Here you go, little dude. Come on.
10 minutes and 43 seconds of awesome footage of probably just coolness. Even me clearing my throat and going and talking about slime and phlegm and...
Like,
I mean, we all go through that. We're all just as natural as this pond water. My stomach's going raw, 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 because I just drank some.
you did?
Huh?
You drank something?
Well, no, when I drank a little bit of that.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to stretch and...
I do too.
So you can do that while you're sitting here. Just go around in circles with your neck. And then you want to stand up and stretch out your legs, you can. Or even just back up some and stretch your legs out and stretch them out. Or lay back, you know. Is something crunchy?
No, I cracked my back like 3 times and I did that. I laid it up. Holy.
You're a mix between me, Taven, and Joe Lupo. At my age. It's so cool. It's good. It's an awesome thing. Because you want to do the music. You try to rap with me like Joe. You have the pants. You got the scrub. You're exactly it, dude. I love you so much. Like, not Dan, not whatever, but you're a creation of my mind, of God's mind. It's so weird. Like, I feel like this is heaven, and I'm looking down at the rest of the world right now from here. And in the rest of the world, we'll phase back into the normal moment where we close our eyes, and we're not the big kings of the pond. We're just sitting by the pond again. One blink can do it all. We're back to the people sitting by the pond. A minute ago, we were God looking down on the whole world. And New York City's down there. Miami, Florida. Austria. Zimbabwe. I love using that word for some reason. Neptune, all the different planets, they're all out there in the lake too, just as much as they're out there in the sky. They are. They're all words. Just like that leaf is as much attention getting as the rest of the world is right now.
Sometimes instead of saying Krypton, I say crouton.
Crouton!
Man, came from crouton.
Came from the land of Croutonia. Croutonia. The crust of bread.
Came from crouton.
He's the crust of the crust of the crust. Not the best of the best, he's the crust of the crust.
The crust of the crust.
The crest of the crust. The crest of the wave. It's the Alexander family. We're the crest of the wave. In a biblical sense, we really were that. I expected to hear women talking. How many distractions pull your mind away? From what? From other distractions. Which is the primary distraction? The dog, the water, the fly, the job, the family, the life. Oh, wait a minute, all of them. Now the ripples in the pond can go every single way and it's not stressing me out. And I don't think, oh, the weather's this way in New York, but it's this way in Chicago. Oh, but on the other side of the world, they're having tidal waves. I don't have to think that way anymore. I can calm my mind, and my mind can calm the whole world. Because when my world is calm, the world is calm. And if every person knew that their world is inside themselves, then they would feel what I'm feeling right now, and they would be able to sit still and feel this kind of love for the world that you sitting next to me can feel when you do it. Right? I mean, I feel love for the world more than anything I've ever felt, because nobody else has told me to love the world for what it is. Just, it's a beautiful life. It's people, color, expressed, dancing. Nothing other than that. I'm not going to tell you to go work somewhere. I'm not going to tell you to go be something. Be you. Be a color. Be a human being. Be like those dogs over there. Just having fun, whatever they're doing. Probably biting each other, running wild, getting into things they shouldn't. And people with minds just as sporadic as the dogs try to train them. Get under control there, yappy. But I bet you the person with the yappy is just as out of control. That's why they vibrationally sound for each other. You get a dog that runs up and down the field for a farmer who seems so patient because his mind is running up and down the field and his dog does it for him. You know what I mean? It's like perfect partners to the man in the field, the bird in the meadow, the shepherd and the fox. You know, it's like all these different relationships between each thing. Nature governs itself in its own actual way. Why frogs will come out around other sea and water creatures but not around people or land animals, because they have their own kind of politic between frogs, salamanders, even some flies that frogs will eat. But they'll land next to them and they'll be patient. But if a person sits down in the area, all those things will scatter. And why is that? Our vibration is different. People that notice that can actually sit down with bugs and insects and they'll do that with them. They do them with me. When I don't think about, oh, I don't want you on me. You know what I mean? Like when I'm sitting here like this and I just let things land on me and I don't go, oh, I don't want a bug on my face. Oh, I want to sit here not bothered by any sound. Like that doesn't bother me at all. It's just perfect the way it is. If my stomach quivers because I feel energy of the atmosphere going through me, like today I feel so taken away by the wind. I just do. I don't know why. I love it. As soon as we went out there and we're sitting there looking at the wind blowing across the field, like it just woke something up in me. Did it do something to you? I don't know. Like my eyes are just more wide now. I feel like today was one of those days where, like, you're not looking at the colors the way you should have been looking at them. You have been looking at them, but you had a couple of weeks where you weren't, you know? Like, to myself, not to you. And, like, what pulls me out of that? What pulls me out of seeing it this beautiful? And I don't know. Worrying about other people and not being me, being right here, being like, wow, how you just said, look at all the lily pads. Now there's tons of little lily pads. And now that I distract you out of it, you're distracted again by another distraction. You know, but no. But I'm saying how we all distract ourselves with distractions all the time. You know? Like if I say, like we were just sort of letting our minds go off, and then I started talking again about a certain subject and pointing to a certain subject specifically, and then as you started nitpicking, I'm like, oh, but we're going to focus, kind of thing. And I didn't mean to nitpick at it, but I was like saying how far your mind goes off. Like how earlier I was saying, and like How many distractions are there? Yeah, the bubble. That's another one. See what I mean? Like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See his eyeballs.
Yeah. They're just as alive as us. But they're in the water all the time, so they're
How
from...
the hell could a hawk see this from the sky?
I don't know.
There's a frog. Okay.
Well, they would just have the overhead view down onto the pond. Movement, I guess. Like, I saw movement there a minute ago. I'll watch around and see where I saw movement. I'm getting hungry. I don't see any more, but I know there was some there a minute ago. And they come down and find whatever's out.
My butt's getting damp now.
Want to get up, move around?
Yeah. I said that, and then I got stabbed.
I feel like just looking up at the sky can teach you such a big lesson. Watching the bird. Like all the things. Yeah, they're mating. And you look at how much traffic there really is up there. Like that bird's going across, a couple birds farther away, farther in. All the lines of clouds, all the jet streams, all the...
There's some birds that look like you don't see them, and you do, and you don't. And you do.
Yeah, I don't know how much this will even catch, but I'm just going to do it for a minute. Like, just looking at the sky, there's so much traffic going on over the pond. The bird just came down, two of them split directions. And if you just look around, another one comes in over here. Battle in the wind and all the jet lines, jet streams in the sky. So many lines, endless lines. What is that? A little berry of some sort. Just pick it up off the ground. I don't know if you got it from a tree or something. That way we can trace its origin.
Feels dead.
No, nothing's dead.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I know. I'm just saying that for video purposes. I mean, things do die, but they're not dead. Ever. That's just a word we use to express it's moving on to another pattern. De-add. So that you can math somewhere else. You can ath or hath. Or walk on a path if you're perceptually able to tell what you're doing. That's why Peter and Pi are sort of the same thing, just different languages. Saint Peter is a living, walking, talking being in flesh. That's what that means. With all the noble rules in place. Before all the different attitudes and personalities of the Bible come in. And interfere by saying, hey, what about this idea or what about that idea? If you're just by yourself doing your thing, you're not bothered. Things are just the way they are. The bugs are mating. The fireflies are making more firefly babies, and the cattails are blowing in the wind, and the trees are pollinating the way they should, and nobody's bothering nothing. And then we all say, but we want company and mortgage and industry, and don't see the beauty in this. And if you lose track of this, what's the point of any of that other stuff? So that one day you can go relax and sit by it and see what it used to be like before we ruined it? Doesn't make much sense, guys. Or does it? I don't think so. That was freaking excellent.
It's just a thing with a buttload of seeds in it.